Leggari.com is going to show you how to save thousands of dollars on a kitchen remodel using one of our DIY countertop kits. They're super fun to install, super easy, and they always look amazing. Enjoy the video. Welcome back to Leggari. Everyone, I'm Tyler. We got the luxury of watching Brandon install one of our counter kits in his kitchen. He's going to do his table. He's going to do his upstairs bathrooms. And we're also going to be doing his kitchen ledge where the window's at. We got his kit right here. We got the metallic epoxy, the base coat, pre-mixed, ready to go. Here's your highlight colors. Here's your primer. All this stuff's pre-mixed, ready to go. And then we got your pigments, your snow white, coffee, titanium. That's what you guys can expect with one of our kits. Super simple, and you know exactly what you need for each step. So we're gonna start off with obviously the primer. We're gonna prime everything white, and then we'll start with the base coat, do the highlights, and then we're gonna do some cool dispersing effects. And Brandon's gonna do it all. It's first time doing a counter kit. You guys are gonna watch it all right here. All right, so Brandon's gonna de-shed the roller, like we teach you. Always de-shed your rollers. He only has the blue tape, so he's gonna use that. It's better to use the Scotch yellow tape. It's a lot stickier. But just roll your roller on it like he is, and that's gonna get any loose hairs and any fibers off. And then we're gonna start the primer process. So like I said before, guys, the primer's pre-measured already. All you're gonna do is dump part A, part B together, get as much out of it as you can, and then you're just gonna mix it up. And he's doing a snow white base, so we're gonna be doing a white primer. And the counters are already white. This desk is black, but you'll see how we can take a dark counter and make it light.
So here I've dumped the part B into the part A for my primer. It's a white primer. I'm doing a white base countertop.
Alright guys, so he's mixing with a stir stick. The primer mixes really easy. You don't really need to use a drill or paddle wheel. But when you're mixing the epoxies, it's always good to use a paddle wheel, get it mixed up really good. So he's just stirring it around. He's gonna scrape the sides, the bottom, make sure he's got it mixed good. Like I said, it mixes fast, so you don't have to really mix it very long. So now he's dumping the paint strainer. We're gonna go start rolling it out on the counters. So always do your edges as you go along. Do the top, do a couple feet on the top, then roll your edges, then move on to the next section. Don't do all your tops and come back to your edges. And if you get some fish eyeing or some separation like we have here, just wait about 10 minutes or after you're done priming the whole counter, come back and we'll re-roll that, and that'll get rid of those that separation or fish eyes that he has there. And you'll usually get that from like some contamination on the surface that's separating the primer from laying out flat. What do you think so far, Brandon? Pretty simple?
It is. It is. It's like spreading real thin paint.
Yeah. That's what I tell people. If you can paint your counter, paint a wall in your house, you're more than qualified to install a Leggari kit. So see how we rolled over that after a little bit, and it kind of took care of that separation. So since his countertops are already a white, it's pretty simple to get it a white counter. But when we coat this black desk, you guys will probably have to do 2 coats on that. But that's it. He just dips in the tray, rolls down the middle, and then he just cross rolls it all out to get it all nice and thin. And you have plenty of working time. It's dip and roll. This stuff doesn't smell at all. And you will not get a better primer to bond to a smooth surface than our primer. So when you're doing a dark base and you're trying to do a light counter, you can see how it doesn't cover as well. your main focus should be on the edges and faces anyways, because the epoxy doesn't go on as thick there, but you will have enough primer in your kit to do 2 coats if you need to. So just keep that in mind. If you need to do 2 coats, you'll come back in about a half an hour and apply the second coat, and then you're gonna wanna wait about another hour before you do the epoxy coat. All right, so you can tell like this is already setting up. It's been about 20 minutes. We put a fan on it. Now he's gonna hit it one more time, and you can see how much wider it's getting. You don't wanna overwork this, or it'll start peeling up the first layer. So you wanna be real quick, hit it real quick, maybe get a little more on your roller, and then just keep going down there. But guys, you can see how much he has left. This is one kit, and he's already coated all his counters. He's got about, I wanna say like 48 to 52 square feet. So we send out extra primer just in case you have to do 2 coats like this. But you can see how much wider that makes the second coat. And we're going from black to white. Pretty impressive. And again, your biggest concern should be these edges, the front edge, because epoxy doesn't go on that thick. So if nothing else, make sure your front edges are perfectly white. The top corner here where it rolls over, perfectly white. You have a little more room for air up here because it's going on thicker, and you usually add highlights. But look how awesome that looks now after a second coat. And it's fast too. I mean, he's primed all this in maybe, how long do you think that took, 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Already doing a second coat. Put a fan on it dries a lot faster, and we'll be mixing up the epoxy here in no time. Once you're done with the top, don't roll it no more. Because what will happen is this will start eating into that first primer layer, and if you roll it, it'll start peeling it up, both layers up. That's what you don't want. So roll it out like he did, and just leave it, make sure your edges are good. And then we'll go over here. If you follow me over here, you can kind of see on these corners, some of these corners are, he's gonna just hit these again real quick too. See how they kind of black? You can kind of see through them a little bit. He'll just hit that full face in the corner there, and they'll take care of that. Like I said, guys, the front edges are the most crucial. You want to make sure they're nice and coated. Can't see through them. All right, guys, notice the black edge right there. That's what he's trying to hit right now. Just gonna roll it on. You can roll it a couple times. Just get it. You want to get that completely white before we start doing the epoxy. All right, everyone. So the primer's ready. We're gonna start mixing up our epoxy, and we're gonna do this technique. It's a little bit different. We're gonna dump all the base coat and the highlight pre-measured epoxy into one jug. We're gonna mix it up, and then we're gonna separate it into 3 different colors, and we're gonna go pour it out randomly everywhere. You might have seen us do this technique on some YouTube videos before. It's just another cool, fun technique to do, and it's just a little bit different. Yeah. So he's just pouring the part A, and the part A for the highlights should be about a gallon. Should make us about a gallon of material. Cool. So this is all the part A's, because we're not gonna separate base coat and highlight coat. We're gonna dump everything out all at once. So now he's gonna add the B's, both of those, and it's gonna give us a gallon and a half, because we send out a gallon and a half of material per 50 square foot kit. Again, this is a total different technique, so if you guys are wanting to do a base coat and a highlight, you're gonna mix it different. We're gonna pour it all out at once here. Okay, so now he's gonna move these out of here. He's gonna grab his drill. Once you mix it for a minute, you want to get in there and scrape the sides of it and bottom. And just real quick, scrape the sides, scrape the bottom of it, go across the bottom. Typically, you guys want to mix this, dump it into a fresh bucket, mix it again, but since we've done a lot of epoxy, I know he's gonna mix it good enough. All right, so we're gonna do Snow White, titanium, silver, and coffee. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do, the majority is gonna be white, so we're gonna pour some out for all these other 3 colors. So we're gonna do 2 of these for the silver. We're gonna do 1 of these for the titanium, and we're gonna do just a little bit of coffee. So we will need to dump some out in each of these. Probably wanna do about, maybe do like 14 ounces in each one of these. So do those 2 14. We'll do this one. This is titanium, so we'll do this one. We'll do 14 because you're gonna have 28 with those 2. And then this one we'll do about, I don't know, probably 6. Just be cautious when you guys are pouring this stuff out. You are dripping. Once you pour it in the bucket, it will drip. So yeah, perfect. So just put it somewhere where. So now look. So now we're gonna have a majority of the pearl white or the snow white, and then these are gonna be the silver, titanium, and coffee. So he's gonna dump all this into this, mix that up, and I will separate these 2 for the coffee. So do about half and half. Or for the silver here. This is silver.
Start mixing.
Yep. Again, guys, we send out, you don't need to use all the pigment, so you don't want to make a mess like that either. So we're going to use about, we're not going to use all of this. Close to all of it, but not all of it. Coffee is the most potent color we have, and we're going to barely use any amount. I mean, that's really all you need, and that's going to pigment that. I'm going to mix it up right now just to show you guys. And then if you have smaller paddles, you can mix these up, but we don't, so we're just gonna mix these by hand. Just start out slow because the powder's like, they're really fluffy and they'll just bounce out of there if you start spinning it fast. Let's see how easy that was. Instead of measuring out all these parts A and parts B, we just made the whole thing, mix it up, and then spread it out, and now we know all these are mixed perfectly, and they're gonna get hard. Instead of trying to measure out 4 different colors, small amounts. And a good way to make sure you got enough pigment, because we didn't use all the pigments on these, is just pull the paint stick out, let it drip off for a minute, and if it covers the paint stick, you got enough pigment in there. Same thing with coffee. We barely used any coffee. See how good that covers though? You don't need much at all. So since we're doing 2 upstairs bathrooms, I'm just gonna pour a little bit out for up there. And then we'll use the rest. We'll use the rest down here. So we know this can go upstairs. This will be all for down here. And then the rest of these, we need to save a little bit of these for upstairs too. So what he's gonna do is just gonna pour out beads of all these different colors all over the counter. He's gonna take his plastic putty knife, or you can use a squeegee, and he's just gonna start flattening it off instead of rolling it, because when you roll it or swirl it, it kind of blends the colors differently. Versus using a squeegee, it doesn't blend them as much and it looks really cool. It's good, so we're not gonna be really stepping in the oven, so we're gonna pour some of this out just on the floor here. And we'll be able to use that for the edges if we need to add some white to the edges. And then we'll do the same thing with the highlights. We'll add some highlight colors there. That way if we need to get some highlight colors on these edges, we can. So now, Brandon, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna flatten this stuff off. But we're not gonna coat everything. We're gonna leave open spots. And that's where you're gonna do the highlights, okay?
Okay.
So just try to flatten this off kind of randomly. and just leave spots open. So all this is doing is just kind of flattening out the bigger piles, spreading it out. That way when he adds his highlight colors, he doesn't have to move it around as much, and it'll have more contrast to the colors. So now he's taking his highlights, he's kind of getting it in different spots. Everywhere that he kind of missed with the base color. And you don't have to hit every spot that you missed, just this is gonna kind of help make it an uneven pattern and make it look it'll look more natural. So you want to get color everywhere before you run out. So make sure you don't use all of it up and get halfway through and be out. Yeah, move down here. You can always go back and add color to the piles. So he's got some left. We'll just leave it in here in case we want to add some spots, but other than that, I don't even think you need to use that other color. So now you're gonna take this and you're just gonna try to hit everything fast, right? You're not trying to blend it a lot. So like, I'm gonna pull this up through there, kind of like this. See how much lighter it is?
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So just kind of be random with it. See, I got a little on there, dabbing it in some spots, going all different ways. As well hit some on the edges. Just go different ways. Just try to get it all flattened off. Just do different patterns, you know, different random ways. Guys, when you're doing this, keep the same guy doing all of it. You don't want to have one guy do half of it and then another guy do the other half, because they're probably going to do it a little bit different, and the two sections could look different when it's all done. All right, guys, so once you're done doing all that, go through and look for any spots that are missed. Like that's primer, nothing's there, and you want to kind of just hit them. Small spots, you can touch them up with your finger, just kind of move some product in there. But you want to really go over and make sure everything's hit, because once we spray the dispersing agent on this, we don't want to have to move it around anymore, because it'll mess up the look we're going for. All right, so now that we've got all the tops done how we want, we still poured some out on down here in case we need it, but we still left some in the bucket. So we're gonna take the paint stick, or the paintbrush, we're just gonna brush these edges on. Dip it a little bit, brush it on. All right, so we're gonna add a little brown to this, because his tiles have brown in it. And we're gonna use 91% isopropyl alcohol, and we've mixed our coffee metallic pigment powder into the isopropyl alcohol, and he's gonna shake it up as he goes, and he's just gonna kind of mist the surface. And you guys will see it'll create some really cool dispersing effects and some really cool cells. Yeah. But look how cool that looks. It just really adds some depth and character to these counters. So now he's got his kind of big streams and puddles. Now we can tighten this mist up. Now we're doing little fine mist, kind of just blending all this in. Making sure we get it on the edge. Look how much depth that created on this counter. Now we're gonna take white, our pearl white, and not isopropyl alcohol. We're gonna add some mist to that too, and it'll help create some more effect on that. Yeah, look at that. Look at those. Look at what that's doing, guys. It's just adding absolutely amazing effects to this counter. All right, guys, so you can kind of see the dispersing effects, the cells that it creates. It's just a really cool look. And since we did this over top of our base coat and highlight coat, it really adds depth to the countertop. Alright guys, when you're doing this dispersing effect, sometimes you'll get craters. It'll create craters, or it'll kind of separate the material, like right there. You're just gonna go through and dab it in, and that'll help level it out. And that's why you want to spray it right away. That way this material will flow and level back out. And it's just fast. You just go through real quick, dab all the spots. All right, so Brandon's just kind of patting in the edges so it don't look like runs or drips. And it's just kind of blending them into the top. You've already got the color there. So if you get some random spots with drips or that look like runs, just kind of take your finger and just pat it randomly. You see how nice it makes it look. It kind of just flows with the top. Hey, what's going on everyone? Back here with Brandon again. Had to come back and do an after shot for you guys because he completely remodeled his kitchen after he did our countertop install. And I'm just gonna kind of let him explain to you his process and what he thought of the kit.
Well, Tyler, Leggari product is a great product. The countertop, it's resilient. I was able to work over the top of it. I did a tile install, redid my cabinets, the sink, all of it endured, the construction that I had to do afterwards. It's held up really well, the cooking, what a livable countertop.
How was the install? Was it pretty easy?
It was awesome. You can have an artistic approach. You can actually go for so many desired effects. I watched your videos. You have so much content out there. You can find what you're looking for and replicate it.
That's awesome. So have you done epoxies before, or was this your first time?
Never done epoxies.
Never done epoxies, and this is what he created, guys. Look at that. Super cool, super easy. A lot of dispersing effects in here. Those are those cells that you're seeing. That's he sprayed coffee and Snow White, I believe, to get these crazy cool cells. That's our dispersing effect. Yeah, look at the kitchen, total redo. Tile all the way up to the ceiling, new sink, painted cabinets. You got the floor in. Just an awesome renovation here. So appreciate it. Thanks for letting us film it and watch the process. And we'll talk to you soon.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks for watching Leggari.com. We are the inventors of the DIY metallic epoxy countertop and floor kits. If you're not buying from us, you're not getting the original. Don't forget to subscribe, comment below, let us know what you thought of this video. This was Brandon's first time using epoxy, and it's probably one of my favorite countertops. It turned out really, really cool. Also, make sure you click the bell button once you subscribe. That's going to notify you every time we post a new video. We have some really cool products launching soon. You do not want to miss it. And remember, Leggari.com has you covered.